This is Masechet Pesachim, Daf Kuftet Vav Amud Aleph, and the Gemara explains the sources for the Korech in the seder. Amar Ravina, Amar li Rav Masharshia Bereid Rav Nasan, Hachi Amar Hillel Mishmei de Gemara. This is a tradition that Hillel received and taught. Lo nikroch inish matzah umarur bahadi hadad ivinechol. Do not wrap up in a sandwich the matzah and the maror together and eat it. Mishum desfiralan matzah bizman hazeh dioraisa, because we assume that matzah nowadays is dioraisa, even after the Masechet with no korban Pesach. Maror derabanan, and maror is rabbinic. Ve'asi maror derabanan. And when you have a clash between two mitzvos, one being diraisa, one being dirabanan, nowadays the maror being dirabanan and the matzah being diraisa, the dirabanan will actually cancel out or nullify the taste of the matzah, such that we will not fulfill the matzah when it is eaten together as a sandwich with the maror. And even according to the view that believes that mitzvos do not nullify each other, do not clash or destroy one another, hani mili dioraisa b'dioraisa. That is only the case when it is a deraisa and a dioraisa. O derabanan b'derabanan, or it is a mitzvah derabanan with another mitzvah derabanan. The two equal mitzvos will not clash and reject each other. Aval diraisa v'dirabanan, but if you have a diraisa and a dirabanan, asi dirabanan, the lower level mitzvah will come umevatilei l'diraisa and will dilute or destroy or nullify the diraisa. And therefore, if the matzah is eaten together simultaneously with the maror will reject the matzah and we will fulfill only the mitzvah of maror, but not the mitzvah of matzah. Man tana d'shmiyalai matzos mitzvos e mevatlos zuazu. Who is this Tana who has taught us? Who is the view that mitzvos are not mevatel each other when they're equal? Hillel he. It is the Tana Hillel. The Tanya Amral of al Hillel. It is told about Hillel. Shaya korcham bevas achas v'ochlan, that he would wrap up together the matzah and the maror and the korban Pesach and eat them all as one wrap or sandwich. The pasuk says that the Pesach should be eaten with matzah and maror, and he took that quite literally, to be eaten as a sandwich. So Hillel holds that if you have two diraisas or three diraisas, the matzah, the maror, or the korban Pesach, they're not mevatel each other, and in fact, he believes it enhances one another in the case of the korban Pesach with the matzah and the maror. But even so, if it's a diraisa and a derabanan, such as the matzah and the maror, nowadays, they would be mevatel one another. Amar Rav Yochanan, Cholkin alav chaveirav al Hillel. Rav Yochanan asserts that the other colleagues, the other Tanoim, disagreed with Hillel and believed that this was not proper to wrap the Pesach matzah and maror. And what's the source of these people? The Tanya. They're in a brayso. Yachol yehei korcham bevas achas v'ochlan kederech shehillel ochlan. You might think mistakenly that it's appropriate to wrap up the matzah, maror, and korban Pesach together and eat it, like Hillel did. Talmud Lomar. Therefore, the pasuk has to tell us: don't mistakenly think that al matzos umrorim yochluhu, or perhaps matzos al umrorim yochluhu. The extra hevav, to eat it individually and not together. Afilu zebifnei atzmo v'zebifnei atzmo. They could be eaten even individually. So Rabbi Yochanan says, you see from here that the other Tanoim disagreed with Hillel. Maskifla Rav Ashi retorts and says, Ihachi may afilu. What is afilu? Afilu is not a disagreement. Afilu is saying you even could eat it individually, but certainly you can and perhaps even should eat it together like Hillel. So these Tanoim do not necessarily disagree with Hillel. Ela Amar Rav Ashi says, Hi Tana Hachi Katani. This is how we should interpret this brisa. Yachol lo yiti behu yidei chalvaso ela imkin korech hamavas achas v'ochlan kederach Hillel ochlan. You might think that you don't fulfill the mitzvah unless you do like Hillel. Talmud lomar al matzah rorim yachlu afilu zebethnei atzma v'zebethnei atzma. You can even fulfill the mitzvah separately, not together. But certainly these Tanaim do not necessarily disagree with Hillel. So there may be some Tanaim who disagree, but we have no actual record of it, at least not in this brisa. That is where the Gemara concludes the unit and says, Hashta de lo itmar hilchasa lo kehillel v'lo k'rabbanan. Now that we have no source, whether Chachamim are right or Hillel is right, mevarech al achilas matzah v'achil. We make a bracha al achilas matzah and eat the matzah. V'hada mevarech al achilas maror v'achil, and then we make a bracha al achilas maror and eat the maror. Matzah individually, maror individually. In case the halacha is like these colleagues that Rabbi Yochanan knew about, who say that you have to eat them separately. V'hadar achil matzah v'chasa b'hadi hadade, and then we eat the matzah and the maror together, below bracha, without an additional bracha. Zecher Lemikdash Hillel, as a remembrance of the way that Hillel performed the mitzvah in the Beis HaMikdash. It's a Zecher Lemikdash Hillel because even Hillel most likely would say that nowadays when matzah and maror is derabanan and matzah is deraisa, it wouldn't be a mitzvah to eat it as a sandwich. But in the times of the Beis HaMikdash, Hillel felt the optimal way was to eat it as a sandwich, and therefore we also eat it as a sandwich in order to remember his practice from the time of the Beis HaMikdash.